Yep. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we learned important timer events. So how to use them in React? We discussed about debounce and total. These two concepts we learned here. So what is debounce? What is the concept of debounce? What is debounce? No? Debounce will not allow the task to execute immediately when it is requested. So when a user requests any tasks, what will happen is it will lock the task or make this task inactive for some time, for a specific duration of time. So it allows other tasks to perform, allows other tasks to perform. So next throttle. What is debounce and throttle difference? Debounce executes the task only once. Throttle, once start the task, it will continuously execute until it is completed. That means it executes repeatedly. We will see one example of these two, how the throttle and the debounce works. One small example we will see. Debounce already I showed you what happens, messaging, how we display one after another delay. Later we will use in some other places also. When we learn about state management of some sessions and all, you see, for example, you are making any, using any bank application. When you are using bank application after you stopped doing the task, means you left the bank application idle for some time, then automatically session a timeout. Am I right? That means for few minutes, if you are not doing any work, then automatically session timeouts. That means it will calculate some 5 minutes time. For 5 minutes, mouse keyboard activities are not happening. That means user is not giving any input. Then automatically, if a function will fire up, that function will end your session. That is one real example of what debounce. That you can achieve later, because for that we need to understand about the concept of how to deal with we have a mechanism called state management, session management, right? So debounce and throttle are the concepts. So we will see one example using this. Throttle means what? Once the task starts, it will repeat continuously until it ends. Let's see, until we remove, it should repeat. We will create one example for that. So debounce and throttle, let's see. And to control them, what are the timer events we are having? For debounce, we have set timeout, and clear timeout. And we have set interval. Another is what? Clear interval. Set interval and clear interval. These are the options. So let's create one example and see. And one more concept we learned to handle them in React hooks. We discussed about a hook called useRef. Till now you learned useRef, use effects, Another one is what? Use state. These three hooks you learned situation wise. So what is the purpose of useref? Useref is to store a value or a function and use the value or function in the process. That means actually whenever we create values, we store values, the values are used by the process and they are used by the presentation. Now values used by presentation are slow for process. Then for process we have to define separate values, and that is new actually. React people from 18 version, they introduced a new hook called use ref. The purpose of this is you can store some value and you can use the value for internal purpose so that it is faster for a process to understand and handle. We will create one example. Let's see how to use the bounce and the throttle like concepts. Debounce, yesterday I showed you one example. Let's see how to create a throttle. One real example I already told you, like carousels. You have a carousel. Carousel is nothing but once you start the page, a set of images will be sliding continuously, they will be sliding. So this is our application. We will create one simple design. So I will add a component called interval demo. Interval demo.jsx. Yep. So export function interval demo. First, I will show you one basic example. Then we will create a large example, small and large. So some two different points we'll see. Suppose here we are having some images, some iPhone green, some images are already here. Okay. So we are creating a simple design here. Class container fluid. And here we have a div. And in this div, we will put a button as a load image. Some button we are creating. Okay. So this button have class name as BTN and BTN some primary. Flex justify content center, align items center. Style we give height as 100 VH, viewport height. We'll keep this in the startup in index.js. We are using interval demo. Okay. And let's run this. Actually, in this, some more elements are present. Suppose we are having, this is one container. This is button. We'll keep in a div. And we have another div. You learned progress bar in HTML. HTML have a progress bar. and we will keep an image source. This is some iPhone green .jpg. So width, height, we have given something. Okay. Now that is the image we have. This is the design we are having. Load image, progress bar, and some photo. I want to hide the progress bar and this one. So progress bar, suppose it is having some styles. Progress bar is having style. Some width I will give as 300 pixel and height as 30 pixel. We learned style binding. We learned how to write the styles in line. You cannot write like your HTML. We have to write like a binding expression. In that we have to write an object with a key and value. Key is what type? Key is a property in camel case. We have to write in camel case. Value is string type. Okay, so we have the progress bar also ready. And we will do one thing, text center I will give. Okay, all center. I need to hide the progress bar and hide the image. So here we will have a constant toggle button and set toggle button is equal to use state. It will use a Boolean value. So, or we will use some CSS classes. Toggle button is actually D block. That is what? Display block. Another constant, toggle progress. Set toggle progress is equal to use state. It will be D none. D none means display none. Another constant, toggle image. Set toggle image. Image is equal to use state. We have D none. That's also not display. Now we will apply this div will have a class called toggle button. This div will have a class called toggle progress. This div will have a class called toggle image. Then actually all are hidden, only load image is present. That means the progress is not there and image also not there. Now what should happen is when I click this load image button, a progress must show. Loading image. Before loading image, I want a status like what 10% completed, 20% completed, 50% completed, 100% completed. I want to show in a progress. Once 100% is completed, the image should load. Progress should hide, image should load. So first basic logic, when I click this button, hide this button and show progress bar. First we will achieve that. So we will write a function. What is that? Is a load image click. On load image click, what we need to do? Hide the button and show the progress bar. So what we have to do? Set toggle button should be what? D none, means hide it. And the set toggle progress should be what? D block. D block means display block. And this should work on button click. On click, we have to access load image click. Okay. And you see now I click this button, it will hide the button and show the progress. Now that is working fine. Now what I want here is this progress bar should show the progress 1%, 10%, 20% completed. Generally in your HTML, JavaScript, you know, progress bars have three values: min, max, and value. We can control the progress bar by using value, right? So what we do here, we need to define the values for the progress bar. Progress bar is having min starting with 1, max ending with 100. The value of progress bar, it depends. We will continuously increment and define the value of progress bar. So what we will do now here is when toggle image is clicked, we need to increase the progress bar number. It should be increased one by one progress bar and it should be assigned to progress bar. I don't want to show that number anywhere. I just want to use it in the background. Then what usually in JavaScript, what people do is they will declare one count as 0. Then you use variables var, let, and you increase the count by 1. So here, what we will do is we will create let, we will create one count. That means progress value. We will create a progress value. This progress value will be internally used. Then what we will do, we will use ref. Use ref, default value is starting with 1. Default value will be starting with 1. That means the progress value will be starting with 1. Okay, now we need a function called start progress. Start progress function should increase the value by 1 and it should assign to progress bar. It should increase the value by 1 and it should assign to the progress bar. How do we increase the value by 1? So, you know, yesterday you learned about use reference. Use reference will create a thread. Thread related any value, any function is accessed by using what? Progress value dot what? Current. Current contains 1. And what we have to do, progress value dot current plus 1. Increase by 1. That means what start progress function will do is it will increase the progress value by 1. Progress value is how much? 1. It is increased by 1 and it is stored in this location. This we will assign. This we will assign to this progress bar. Progress bar will have a value. The value is coming from progress value dot what? Current. That means it will be incrementing by 1 here. Okay, now what should happen is, first basic, this should happen. When load image clicked, I want this to happen every second. Every second, progress bar value will be increased by 1 and it will be displayed in progress bar. Every second, this function should execute continuously. Now tell me what we have to do, debounce or throttle. What we have to do with this function, debounce or throttle? Throttle. Debounce means only one time it will execute. Throttle will continue na? Okay, so how to throttle any function? We have to use what? Set interval. Set interval. Which function? Start progress. That is the function. And I will give 100 milliseconds. The actually 1000 is equal to 1 second. 1 second means it will take time. I will give little fast, just temporarily for our usage sake. Because 1000 means 1 second, I given 100 means very fast. Because 0 to 100 means 100 seconds it will take. So I given little fast. Okay. Now what should happen on load image? It should increment. So see here, when I click load image, it is showing this. It is not continuously incrementing. Now what is the logic for this? You inspect, there is nothing issue inside this. On click, it is not incrementing continuously. How? Why? This function is executing. This function is executing. It is internally used by the process. Na? The progress bar is also displaying its value. But actually current progress bar value is how much? Progress bar value is 1. And you see that value is applied here. That means you see progress bar value is applied here. 1 is applied. But incrementing continuously not happening. Why? Increment process is same na? Anything you can spot here what to do? Useref is used for reference. Useref is used for a reference. Reference means it is used for internal process, not for presentation. For presentation, we will use one variable. Suppose I am not using useref here. I will remove this. We will declare a common variable where, what is it? Count. Count starts with how much? 1. 1. It will start with 1. On progress, what will happen? Count plus plus. It will increase by 1. Right? It is increasing by 1. After that, what happens? This progress value dot what? Current. Into that current, we will apply the count. We will apply the count. The count is applied into this. And we are using that progress value here. The progress value dot current, we are using it. You see here, I click on load image. It is still same. There is nothing happening. For example, we will use only the count value here. We will use the count value, not progress value. What is the value? Count. When I use the count value here, so you see when I'm using the count value, it is also same. Means progress value, count value, it is not continuously executing. So what is the problem here now? I used both. One normal reference for presentation, another one is progress value. Is this logic same? Means start progress is what? On load click, start progress should execute. How to execute any function repeatedly? Just by using what? Set interval. And 100, actually if it is your JavaScript, it will work fine, no problem. Yesterday we learned the concept. Just observe what is the problem here. Somebody from online. What is the problem here? The count value is being increased and I am declaring a variable for this. If it is your JavaScript, it is fine, no problem in this. Progress value I am increasing by 1, not working. We'll do one thing. Suppose I am defining constant. I will say here p value, that is progress value, set p value, just roughly, is equal to use state. So this is a number. It is a number 1. Now what we will do is this count value we will assign into that. What is it? Set p value. What is it? Count. Set p value is count. And we will use that here. What is that? We will use p value. P value is in a state. In a state we are defining. This is minimum, this is maximum, and this is the value. Now I click on load image. Now it is working. What is the difference you understood? I already clearly told you when we discussed about these points. Variables are immutable. Remember that? Right? So you cannot use variables directly because React is read-only. One way na? One way binding. So it will not allow you to assign. It will not allow to assign. Second, use reference is for internal process. It is not for presentation. It is not good for presentation. It is for internal process. So you are trying those two which are not suitable because progress value need to be presented now. Then what is the best option? State. You store some value and you use the value. Actually, you can use this. Suppose instead of count, what I am doing, I am not using count. Instead of count, what I am doing is here we are using progress value dot what? Current is equal to progress value dot current plus 1. And here you see the same. I click the old image. It's not working. It's not working because its intention is, and one more, sorry, we haven't assigned. It will work, but it is not recommended. Why it is not recommended? It is not recommended because it is for internal process. You see, it's not there. Actually, it incremented and it is hidden. That is for internal process. For internal process, use references. For presentation, use the states. Don't use variables because variables are what? Immutable. So what is the point here now? So we need to configure, means actually count also I should change. P value I have to change to progress value, but this is the best option. What you do? So you create one count and use the count. Remember, progress value also we can use. That means how we use it, the progress value increase, and this progress value p value you are applying. That is not meant for process. Immutable means what? Internally you can use it, but you means you can increment, you can define the values, but you cannot use in a two-way binding technique. So what you have to do? Better remove this. You declare one variable. What is it? Count. And this count is 1. And remember, this is not good for directly using in presentation because it will not allow two-way binding, right? It is immutable. So then what we have to do? We need to configure count plus plus increment and use that count value into the state. State is mutable. This is a state value, na? State is mutable. That means you can modify. It allows to bind. That means we have to apply what? Count. Now you don't need this. This you need only when you want to internally handle the process. Otherwise you don't need. Now you see, you don't need to define that directly the process value, and you see load image, it will display. And the value I want to show here, how do we show the value here? So below this progress bar, we will keep some div. In this div, it is already, I think, centered. In this div, we will display the message. What is it? P value % completed. That is the message we are showing. Then what happens when I click load, it will display that. Now we need some more points to handle. When it reaches 100, it should stop and it should load the image. When it reaches 100, it should stop and load the image. So what we need to do now? Here in this function, we need to write a condition. What is the condition? If count is equal to how much? 100. If count is equal to 100, what we have to do? Actually, first we need to stop the timer. Timer should stop, na? Increment is not done by using loop. Increment is done by timer. Timer should stop. How to stop this timer? To stop this timer, it should have a reference name, na? So how to create a reference name? Yesterday you learned what we have to do. LET. What is that? Thread is equal to what? Use reference. Default is what? Null. Now what should happen? We will apply that interval to the thread. Thread dot what? Current is equal to interval. You set the interval. Now what should happen when count is equal to 100? We have to clear interval. Clear interval, which function? Thread dot what? Current. It will stop. After stopping, what it has to do is toggle set toggle progress. Progress should display as none. That means hide the progress bar and show which one. Set toggle image. Image, it should display what? Block. It should display block. Image should come. That means what will happen now here is when I click load image, it will show the progress. When it reaches 100, what happens? It will hide and display the image. This image we can display with a lot of animations. Already last session I showed you keyframes now. You can apply keyframe, zoom, rotate, fade, any kind of effects we can apply for those images. So already we learned how do we apply keyframes using class and style binding. You can apply them. So here we are implementing a throttle mechanism. That means it is continuously executing. You can pause, you can resume also. For example, let's do one more thing. When it is downloading, we can pause and resume the download. Let's do that. How do we do? Below this progress bar, I will add one div. In this div, I will put a class name margin y2. And here I will put one button. This button is what? This button is a class name btn. btn suppose primary and bi. bi what? I will give as a play. bi play button is there. I will use play. Another button I will give mx is 2. Another button we will add class name btn danger bi pause. Pause also I will give. Usually what happens, load image, these two buttons will be there. On this it should pause, on this it should resume. Let's write the logic. You can easily write that. We need two functions. One function is what? Pause click. On pause click, what to do? Cancel the interval. That means what we have to do? Clear interval. Clear interval, what it is? Thread dot what? Current. On play click, what to do? Play click. On play click, again we need to assign the process to the thread. Right? Then again what should happen? Thread. Thread dot what? Current. To that we need to assign the process again. We should load it again. That means what we have to do? Set interval. Which function? Start progress. How many milliseconds? 100. 1000 means it will be slow. 1 second it will take. I given little fast. 100, 200, anything you can give. So this should have one more option. I want to show the status. Actually, status is what here. I will put another one. Constant status. Set status is equal to use state. Use state is what? Empty. Now what we will do is when it is paused, set status as what? So I will give paused. Paused is the message and it is playing. Set status. Set status I will keep empty. I don't want any message to show. And you see here after completed, here we will keep set status. Status message we will show that. Status message is initially empty. That means there is no status message. On first button click, on click, which function should come? Play click. On this button click, what should happen? On click, what should happen? Pause click. We have play click, pause click. Now see what will be there. I click load image. It will start. I click the pause. It says pause. Again, I click on this play. That means it will resuming first. Now it should not resume from first. It should resume where it paused. Why it is resuming from first again? Because whenever I click, count will increment again from 1. That means it should not increment from 1. It should continue. Then how? Where it is paused, from there it should continue. This count will reset again. It will reset again and it will start the progress again. But it should continue from previous. So now this value should be in memory. That value should be in memory so that we can store the value in memory and from memory we can access and use it. Now what is the logic? It should start and it should resume from the memory. This value should be in the memory. Because where you paused, from there it has to come again. So here you can use another use reference. Let's do, suppose, see, you tell me what should I do now? Count, it is incrementing, fine. It is storing the value and showing the value, progress bar value. Suppose I created, so LET, what is it? Suppose instead of using count, the problem you saw previously, suppose I am using here, what is it? Some progress. This is like progress value, okay, is equal to what? Use state, not use state, use what? Ref. How much? Suppose initially I keep it to null. Nothing is defined inside it. Now what should happen? Here progress value we need to set. We need to set this count. I will set in progress value also. That means I will use progress value dot what? Current is equal to, what is it? Count value we will use. Count value means it will be incrementing and it is using it. Okay, now this is storing the value in memory. That is storing the value in the memory. Now suppose if I want to use this value, if I want to use that value directly, that means here which value we are using? P value. Instead of P value, what is it? Progress value dot current. It cannot do this now. So load image, you see it is functioning. Now I click on pause, it is pause. Again resume, it is again coming from there. So how do you implement from the place where it stopped? How do you continue from where it stopped? What do you say? On pause click, play click is the problem. That is where you have to handle it. On pause click, it is stopping. On play click, it is resuming again. It is resuming again. This is where some issue is there. I will do one thing. I will create a lab group for us. I will share that lab group. You try and post the example there. I will copy this program. You try the method. So how do we handle that and post that? Okay, now, right? This only small logic you have to implement. Think about that logic and try that. Anyhow, I will show you if you are unable to do, right? So I will copy this example. 95% I implemented, 5% I left for you. Only one logic you need to think. When it is paused, it should continue from the same place where it is paused. Can you try? Right? Use all the techniques what you learn. That means increments, everything. I will post the lab group into our classroom. Into classroom, I will post the lab group link. You join that lab group link and you can submit your program there. Okay. Topic wise, I will give you some tasks, every concept wise. Those tasks all you have to submit in that lab group, right? If you can do that, usually when you submit in those lab groups, we can understand how much practice you are doing. Not only that, generally we have a lot of placements. Companies ask for React people and all. Whenever any of our companies comes and asks for people, we pick from the lab group people who are doing regularly exercise and we recommend to those jobs. So you do practice because you saw my Instagram na? I'm posting regularly job opportunities exclusively only for Naresh IT people. Only for Naresh IT people, right? And what we do generally is we pick up the people from lab group who are regularly practicing, submitting their exercises, and we forward them to companies. Whenever any company says we want these people, we will first forward those people. Others we don't care. We don't even know whether they exist or not. We know only the people who are doing lab exercises. So I will create one lab group and share. you try this example. A small logic you need to implement. So anyhow, we have more examples to try. This is one basic. First try this. We can try more examples on that. Okay. I hope you know this. Right now, just try. The logic exists in this area only. Increment and assigning, that is only the place where the problem is. You have to just solve that. Okay. Try doing that. Otherwise, in next session, I will show in class how to handle that. Okay. You can do easily. That's a small logic you need to think. Because actually in JavaScript like area, if you have tried already, you know, in JavaScript also the same examples we try same. If you've done that, you can easily handle it. Okay. Try that. I will show you if you are unable to do it. Okay. Now this is an example to understand the concept of, this is the example to understand the concept of timeout, interval. Here in the interval, you see we are incrementing the value and we are displaying the values. Up to this it is working fine. And pause is also working fine. Only the point is when I resume, it should resume from where it has paused. So that means this value of progress bar must be captured and the same value should continue. That is only the logic you need to implement because it is coming from beginning, because count resets. The scope related some small logic you need to implement. You try that, you can easily handle it. Okay. This is one example of how do we work with debounce, another one throttle. We will create another example also. That means how the throttle works. We will see another example like carousel. Carousel means a set of images will be sliding one after another. Images will be changing. We can create such options also. For example, you see in a website like Amazon. In website like Amazon, when I load Amazon, automatically a carousel banners will be there. And you see that those banners starts animation. Automatically they are sliding. And every few seconds a new image is coming. And it is repeating. It will not have any pause or stop. Of course, it is having a manual control. Left button, right button are there. When I click left right button, next image, previous image will come, but animation will be continuing. It is throttling. Once load, it starts the throttle, it continues. These kind of things are designed by using throttle. We will create manual and auto, both options. For example, let's create one slideshow. Means we are creating one simple slideshow of carousel like options. Let's do. Here to create slideshow of contents, I will use an option here, another component. So let's add a component. Yeah. Carousel demo. Okay. I'm just using carousel demo. Carousel demo dot what? JSX. Here, so export function carousel demo. That's a simple design. First, I will create manual design here. So class name. So in the class name, we have deflex container fluid. Okay, deflex justify content center. Here I am designing a div. I will use a class card. Margin 4, padding 4. Okay. In this card, I will just keep this in the startup. This is carousel demo. Okay. In this, we are having a class as card header. Okay. And we have another class card body. In this card body, I will give row also. We have a div class as call1 or class name call1, and another div class name is call10. Another div we have class name as call1. Here we have a button as a class btn, btn dark, and bi chevron left. Okay. Here also we have one button, and this button is chevron right. Actually, it is nothing but here we will have an image. This image have a height of some 300 pixel, and width is 100 pixel, 100%. Okay. You see, actually, the presentation is like this. This card I will give as W50. And you see the card will be in this way. So we just designed a card, and this row we need a deflex, flex column. You know how to keep horizontally, vertically center. Justify content center, align items what center, align items center. Okay, that will make this button in the center. Same thing we have to add for the second column also. For second column also we are adding the same. It will be like this. Now first, level by level we will implement. It's a big concept. One by one we will implement. First concept is we want to design a manual slideshow first. That means we want to bring some photos and show them here, right? Actually, we already used NASA API and weather API, no? Have you tried them? NASA weather API's example. We have another API, that is we have a fake store API. Fake store API, its official website is https://fakestoreapi.com. There is another API, fake store API. Using this we will design some examples also. I will show you. This fake store API will provide a list of, it provide data related to shopping, online shopping. You are building some online shopping like app, then for that some products, categories, data, these people will provide. Some free data is provided by them. So what you do is you can try this API. Actually, they have so many requests. I will give the requests all to you. Means you can visit this website. You will see what are the requests they are having. Actually, they have a request https://fakestoreapi.com/products/some product ID. They have 20 products. You can access all the 20 products using their ID. Product ID 1, 2, 3 up to 20. You see the website here. If you visit their website, fakestoreapi.com/what products/1, you see it will give one product data. What it is returning? It returns an object. In that object they have ID, title, price, description, category, image, rating. So we will use this data. And remember, like this, they have 20 products. You can visit their official website, fakestoreapi.com. You see it is an API for e-commerce shopping website. They will give you some requests. These are all requests. Products is going to give you an array of all products. We will use in another example. This API I will show in another example also. As of now, we will use in this products 1. That means it will get the product of which ID? 1. Suppose you entered 2. That means it will get the product of second. Second ID will come. So what we will do? We will create a simple design. We need to fetch the data and display here. I want product photos here. Let's do that. I want to display the product photos. So what I am expecting from that API is I am expecting a product. What is it? Set product. What is the type of data I am expecting is object. Object will have ID. Object will have a title. Object will have a price. Price is number type. It is having description. Description is a string. It is having image. Image is also a string. It is having a rating. Rating is an object that have rate which is 0 and have count that is also 0. This is the data they have. You can see that is the data they are having. Category is also there. I will use one more. What else is there? It is also having a category. Category is what type? String. This is the data they are having. And see rate and rating is an object. In that rate another one is count. What data we are expecting from that API, we designed it. Okay, let's bring the data and use it. I will put a simple logic here. We will write a function load product. It should load only the product based on ID. So it is expecting a parameter what? ID. When you call load product, you pass the ID. That ID related product will be displayed. So that means how to bring it? Axios. Axios dot what? Get. What is the URL? https:// what is it? fakestoreapi.com/ what? Products/ the ID number changes. ID number dynamically come from parameter. Na? It will be changing. Then we will get the response. This response we will set product. Huh? Set product response dot what? Data. The product detail is ready. Now this product, so first load product. Use effect. That means at the time of mounting, use effect. At the time of mounting, what we will do is at the time of mounting, we are going to display one product default. That means we will call load product and we will pass ID as 1. We will pass ID as 1. Okay, load product ID is 1. Okay, next here we will display the product details. In the header text center, here I want to display product dot what title. Here I want to display the product image. That means SRC is coming from where? Product dot what? Image. That means by default first product will load and show. That is the first product name and image. Now simple logic. When I click next button, it should get the second product. When I click previous button, it should get the previous product. So what is the logic? When I click next product should come. So what should do? So we need to write here function. Now some value must be incremented and it should be used in internally. I don't want to show that product ID. Then what we will do? We will create a reference. Reference is nothing but the reference is for product ID is equal to what it is? Use reference. Use reference is default is having not null. I will start with 1. Product ID by default it is 1. We are having 1. Okay, now what should happen? The product ID should be increased by 1. When user clicks the next button, we have two buttons. What is it? Next click. Another function is what? Previous click. We have next click, previous click. On next click, what should happen? This product ID should be increased by 1. So what we have to do? We have a reference product ID dot what? Current is equal to product ID dot current plus 1. And load product function should be called. It is expecting ID. It is expecting ID. ID is coming from where? Product ID dot what? Current. It will get the ID. What should happen on previous click? Same logic. On previous click, it should decrease by 1, minus 1. Then we will apply. These two buttons we will write here. Where is the first button? This is the previous button. On click, what we have to do? Previous click. Here in this button, on click, what is it? Next click. That's what we need to do. And you see here, when I click this button, next image will come. I click on next button, next image will come. I click on previous button, the previous image will come. The previous image will come. That means it is going to get those images and display. Actually, they have 20 images. All the 20 images will come. Still, it's not done. Lot of conditions we have to write. Now, when I click next, it will get. Actually, product have a lot of details like product price, product rating, so many details. We can display those details here. Suppose I want the product price here. We want the product price, product rating, we want to display. They already have the data. We have to just display the data. For example, you see this is the column 10 where picture is there. Here I am using a div. For this class I am using, we have a position class. You know position absolute. I will use position absolute, and the parent will have a class called what? Position relative. And here what we are doing is I am giving as end 0, top also 0. These are CSS positions. And here I will keep some more effects like let's say badge, BG danger, text white, rounded and rounded circle. We are using rounded circle, and here I want the price or rating. That is product dot what? Price. And you see the product price will come there. At the top I am showing the price. Actually the price, it is in dollars or something. So to local string en-US. US, huh? Yeah. And here we have a style. Style is what? Currency. And currency is USD, US dollars. And it will show that US dollars. Let's put little padding also, na? Then it will be fine. You can increase little font size also. That will be fine. It's 5, 6, some size. That's okay. When I click on next, the next product will come. We are accessing the product details and we are showing them. These are all the products they have. That means some 20 products are there, we are displaying. This is the first level logic. That means we designed a simple logic. Bring the data from API and display. When user clicks, it will go next, it will go previous. Now I want a slideshow for this. I want a slideshow for this. That means automatically every few seconds these photos should change. That means we will put a play button and a pause button. When user clicks play, it should start automatically changing. When user clicks pause, it should stop. And I want like a media player. It needs a seek bar. Seek bar means what should happen below this image. I am giving a div, or actually this is a card body. After this, suppose I am having class as card footer. In the card footer, I am using input type as range. And here we have class as form range. And actually range will come like this. A slider will come. A slider is here. Now another is, in this we have another div and class as margin white 2. Here we need two buttons. Class BTN primary and BI as what? Play. And we need another button. Class name is BTN warning, BI what? Pause. And here MX is 2. Then you have play and pause buttons. Card footer text center means it will keep the alignment center. Now we need to make them work also. That means on play click, what should happen? Automatically these photos should be changing. Every few seconds a new photo should come. Every 5 seconds one new image. And on pause click it should pause. And it should work with this slider also. That means when I move the slider, it should be able to change the images. Not only that, when images are changing, the slider also should move. That is, seek bar should move. That means we need a coordination between this and this. This you can achieve if you can achieve the previous example. Understood? Because in previous example, when pause, it should resume from there. Na? If you can implement that, you think the logic for that, same we have to implement here also. So what we will do is, this we will do in Monday session. I am giving the previous task to you. You have to try that. If you can try that, you will find a solution for this also. But anyhow, Monday session, I will show you this example. Means how to implement play, pause, seek bar, how to do. Up to now what we done, I will copy this example. Up to now what we done in this example. Up to now in this example, we controlled manually. Next button, next product will come. Previous button, previous. Now we need to implement play, pause and the seek bar. That you can do if you can achieve the previous task. Will you try that? You try that. Anyhow, those two examples I will explain in Monday class. But if you can try by yourself, that's good. If you can try, I will give you some more tasks, how to handle them. I will post a lab group link today. You go through that lab group link and you submit your exercises there. Okay? Then Monday we will continue. These are your tasks to do. Think, try to do them. If you are unable, I will help you. Okay? Monday will continue them, right?